So I want to talk about first-party data, both publisher first-party data and advertiser first-party data. And Brian, I'm going to start with you. You just announced this past week you're investing $25 million to build your second-gen DMP. And what you said is, quote, more than anything else, data provides leverage in a programmatic media buying world. So how important is specifically first-party data? And you can talk both about advertiser and publisher.
First-party data is extremely important. The biggest problem with first-party data is that there's a finite amount of data, and generally speaking, when you're trying to reach massive audiences, you run out of first-party data very quickly. So, we do a lot of business in the U.S., and you can augment some of that first-party data with third-party data, but it's not some of that data doesn't really perform, and it's expensive in relation to the performance it generates. We do business in 40 markets around the world, and in most of those markets you can't get third-party data. And so we developed Turbine with an investment of $25 million, as you said, so that we could better harness data both from our clients and from publishers and create what we call second-party data, which is our ability to model off the data and create unique segments that perform better than if you were to buy third-party.
All right, second-party data. Okay.
Yeah. Sorry, Jay, I have a question to Brian. Actually, my answer would be quite similar, but this 25 million thing I found quite impressive, and I think lots of people found that very impressive. Jay, do you know how many clients are in here in the room? I was about to say, but that's on this terrace. Do you know? Have you any idea?
I don't know.
Do you know? Are there any clients in here? No clients. There we go. So we can definitely talk very openly. Because in my 4 months tenure, I've learned that that's kind of an issue in this market. So the 25 million. What I'm trying to understand is that a proprietary technology you're building? Is that where the 25 developing for 25 million? Is that what you're doing?
Thanks for that question. My technology budget last year was $50 million.
50.
Which is the money that we've invested into our platform. I'm not sure what you invested in at Publicis.
Less than
you
that.
were distracted last year, but
This is not a distraction. First of all,
the 25 million is
thing.
the money that we invested into Turbine, and it's proprietary. So it's built from scratch, from the ground up.
Okay, for your DMP, and you don't think? I mean, I'm thinking. Like Omnicom, I think you cut a deal with Aggregate Knowledge, I think. So you're probably not spending 25 million.
Well, I think Aggregate Knowledge spent more than $25 million developing that technology. We have one of their board members right over here.
Jonathan.
All kidding aside, I think our strategy is actually very different than Brian's. We work as a systems integrator, and we work with all of the technology companies across the hemisphere, and we've tapped into a tremendous amount of innovation that's being funded largely by venture capitalists instead of with our own dollars, and we pick and choose technologies that work to piece together solutions around it. It's a different approach, and it's working well for us.
Actually, I think it is different, but it's we don't build everything, nor would we ever be able to build everything. We would never be competitive. So we've focused most of our efforts. In the early days, in fact, we built a DSP, and we moved away from it because we found partners that were very good in that space. But the DMP is something that we specifically wanted to build ourselves. But I think similar to you, Josh, we try to integrate as many great third parties as possible in terms of the technology stack.
And Arun, let me bring you into this. I mean, one of the things that you said is one of your 3 priorities is working with media owners to, quote, assign value to the media owners' first-party data. So what does that look like at media brands? How are you doing that?
So again, this goes back to what we've been discussing around data. And the fact is, like Brian mentioned, most markets around the world don't have third-party data sets. And advertisers have first-party data sets that are limited. And so in the end, you're going to have to rely on publishers. So in markets like Germany and France, for instance, it's publishers which will actually help you get better targeting and superior solutions. So effectively, it's about engaging them It's also about helping them understand the value of what they have and redefining what the word premium means. Because premium is not just page 1 or page 2, but it's actually my audience doing an action that I want, which is obviously verified. So at the end of the day, it's an education process on both sides.